Inspiration by Brad. Let's talk about whether we actually need someone in our life to make us feel complete. Or is it possible to do all this on your own? Think about that one. A big question that often gets thrown around in our society is whether or not we need others to feel complete. It's a personal choice, actually. Do you really need somebody around you? Do you really want the headache of somebody else around you all the time and have to worry about pleasing them? Yes, there are times when it's advantageous or it might get a little bit lonely, but quite honestly, you don't need somebody else in your life. There's plenty of people out there in this world that just like to share relationships with each other. We've all been led to believe that having a significant other, a close-knit group of friends, or even a big family is essential to feeling whole and fulfilled. Well, I'm going to tell you that's bull. That's all BS, and it's all a way to keep you under control. Heaven forbid we all be independent and think for ourselves. Can't have that. Wow. We've all been there. We get into a new relationship and suddenly we feel like we're on top of the world, only to find yourself plummeting into despair when it ends. Ugh. We put so much emphasis on somebody else and on somebody else to make us happy, to give us our validity and to make valid our existence. Wow. You're not very powerful, are you? You've just given away all of your power. What happens when those relationships aren't there? Do you just suddenly become incomplete? When we rely too heavily on others for our sense of self-worth, we open ourselves up to a world of vulnerability. We become dependent on their approval, their validation, and their presence in our lives. And when that's taken away, we start feeling lost and empty. We feel like we've lost part of ourselves. Now, don't get me wrong here. I'm not saying that it's not a great comfort to have somebody next to us, but do you really need them? Honestly. And I'll guarantee you that there's people out in the world that would say they'd rather be single, they'd rather do everything by themselves than deal with all the crap that goes along with having a partner or having somebody else along. A lot of truth in that. I'm telling you, have an open mind. Social media tells you you have to have this perfect online persona, accumulating likes and followers as a way to measure your self-worth. But what happens when you take a step back and realize that those virtual pats on your back aren't actually filling the void you're trying to fill? It's like trying to fill a hole in your life with a bunch of Band-Aids. A little small Band-Aid. The little pinky one. Hoping that somehow, some way, it just magically gets better. It doesn't work that way. Is it possible to feel complete within ourselves? That's the fun. That's the thrill. Regardless of your external circumstances, is to go within. That's the question that surprises everybody. is how can someone go within and be perfectly satisfied? It's a frame of mind. It's a level of consciousness. I remember at one point in my life, I was told, you will begin to understand that this journey will be on your own. Your true happiness will only be from on your own perspective. And I believe that I'm personally finding that perspective. Am I enjoying the journey? Well, some days, some not. But this is the whole process. Do you need someone else in your life to feel complete? Maybe you do. And there's nothing wrong with that. But for those of us that are out there, no, you don't. I'm sorry I said it. You don't need somebody in your life to feel complete, no matter what they tell you. Find your own happiness, because you cannot give to somebody else what you do not have. And somebody else can't get that for you. You have to find it yourself. Think about that. Inspiration by Brad. Thank you for being with me today. Have a great day.